Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Resale Market. Thank you for joining us on episode 304 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
304. Just such a terrible.
Well, when's the next milestone for you then? When's the next one?
325.
No, I don't think so. Well, when's the next time? I just want to go back to the same place we did. I want to go there every time we have an event.
Oh, the place that we went for the 300?
Yeah. So the question is, when do we go back there?
I mean, we can have an event.
It's got to be a 400, doesn't it?
I mean, we can have an event anytime we want. It doesn't have to be a special episode event, right?
Just we're having an event again.
Yeah, why not? Right?
I guess we could. That would make it easier for Trevor.
Yeah, we could just make it really
like flexible. The 353rd episode. Like we're having an event. Okay.
Wait, just plan it that far ahead of time.
Well, we gotta make sure Trevor can come.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, if we could work it out timing wise that it's not you're right. We could arbitrarily make it an event just because I think if we're going to do like a random number, it just has to be like this is actually all three of us getting together is the only reason that we're celebrating.
Correct. So it's really just when can Trevor come to the US? That's really what the next one will be.
Yeah.
Besides going on a Disney trip. Yeah.
Besides doing the Disney trip. Yeah.
Can you fit it in the next 52 weeks is the big question.
Likely no.
So then we might be able to match up against 400.
Yeah. I mean, we can make something happen with that. Yeah.
Well, we could just go to Disney.
We could also do that too. I mean, I think we said the next one would be at Disney, right?
So okay.
I thought we did. I mean, I thought that.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
350 at Disney? Is that possible?
Yeah, sure. Why not? The venue we did it at last time was really nice. I mean, it was a nice experience, and it was, what's that?
Huh. Mm-hmm. What time of the year would that be?
I mean, don't want to be March. Yeah,
I could do that. I think. All right, let's make it happen. So I have something to look forward to.
Gotta have something to look forward to. Yeah,
350 in Disney.
Yeah, I've been thinking to myself after this cruise and my little trip here is like, what do I have to look forward to after that? I don't have any other vacations scheduled.
Yeah,
I meant this year, like what
next year?
Yeah. I'm just saying I don't have any other vacations scheduled, so it's just like.
Did you have a cruise and a trip to Disney? Is that what you're saying? Is it all one trip or no?
Yeah. It's that
one trip
after the
for
cruise.
The summer?
Yeah, that's gonna probably be our trip as of right now. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna.
I like to always kind of bang out 2 because I feel like 2 is good. Like 1 is tough. Yeah, I would agree with you.
I would like to do 2. It just depends on, my wife's job.
2 is, I mean, we're doing the quick Universal. And then yesterday we just booked our excursions for Coco Key, I think. So me and the boys are going to the water park and my wife and daughter did not. So they're going kayaking, which I would never, ever, ever do. So,
are you worried about it like flipping over and getting stuck underneath it? Because
that's like not trying to get sharked again.
Oh well, there's that.
I don't ever worry about things where swimming is involved. Like a kayak flipping on top of me, like I'm okay. I'm good in water.
Kayaks aren't that bad.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get sharked. Yeah. So,
can I ask you a question, Damon? That came up in my house this past week. Not about you specifically, but I want to know, and I think I know the answer to this. How much or how little did you participate in Pirate Night every time you've gone on a Disney cruise?
Ooh, well, I mean, remember we went Halloween and I was full out dressed.
You went full on? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Remember, because I was Uncle Stan. Like, I definitely was full on.
But not pirate, though. You didn't dress like a pirate.
So that's what I'm going to ask. Like, what do you mean, like, my involvement? Did I wear the bandana? 100%.
I bet you wear, like, a full-on pirate outfit.
No, I'm not bringing that. Like, no. Like, I'm not bringing that sort of stuff on the ship. Like, there are people that do for sure that have really nice outfits. But, I mean, involved, like, I got my bandana on. Like,
that works.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the extent of it for me. I mean, but there are people that go all out for sure.
Well, so
pack if you think about it.
well,
Excuse me?
yeah, it's too much to pack. Yeah, I get it.
It is. It's a lot, and people go like, I mean, Tom,
People go
people
out.
go all out.
Yeah. Well, so what happened was, like last week, my wife was like, "Well, did you get a pirate costume? Because everybody else has pirate costumes." And I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't get one yet." Right. So she was like, "Well, if you don't get one, you're gonna be the only one not dressed like a pirate." And I was like, "Okay, fine." So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Like,
But
so-
even if you think you're going to do this, you are going to come nowhere close
Oh,
to
no.
people that are really doing
Well,
this.
no. I'm going to do it more than what the rest of my group is doing.
Okay.
Because the rest of my group, I think, is just doing like a thing you could buy at a Halloween store kind of pirate costume,
Yep.
but not even like the good ones, just like
Yeah.
some sort of like skull and crossbones shirt. And, you
But
know,
that only works if you sneakily don't tell them that and then just
Yeah.
fall out when you get
well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not
Yes.
telling anybody that.
Oh, 100%.
The only one I told was my wife.
Oh, I wouldn't have done that. But okay, I respect that game. But I would not even have told my wife.
She was going to
It's
find
okay
it
for her to be in on it. Like that's
It
fair.
depends.
But
Loose lips
yeah.
sink ships, though. You know, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she actually reined me in because I was going to go harder than I did.
No, that's what you needed to see.
okay.
Again, this
Yeah,
is the whole reason why you never should have
No.
told her. You should just come all in.
Yeah. Sorry. Me and Damon are on the same page with this. You know, your wife is telling you to dial it down. That tells me you should dial it up.
They're going to dial it up.
100%.
I mean, listen, I'm gonna. I got the hat. I have like a nice like leather vest thing. I've got the poofy shirt. I got the pirate pants. I bought pirate jewelry.
Pretty solid.
I was gonna also buy, and this is where my wife was like, "You're going too far." I was gonna buy like fake like clip-on earrings and like a nose ring, and like I was gonna do fake tattoos and stuff. She's like, "You're taking it too far." But I'm like, I think I'm just taking it far enough, personally. If we're gonna do this, let's do it.
Clip-on earrings, I think, are like almost
that's-
the accoutrement that you need.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not too
it's simple.
far.
I listen.
A nose ring,
Yeah.
maybe, but the earrings, I think, are just part of what you'd have to do.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm with you. I was gonna also get like some of like the cool like leather armbandy things too, but then I was like, all right, I've pretty much already spent $100 on this, and I probably shouldn't have gone that far. But
The leather armband,
You're
I
good
could
for
see a
Halloween
pass on.
this year.
Yeah, I could see the pass on those, but the earrings are just like kind of like a must. I hate to say it, but
well, I was also saying to myself, like, look, I can probably like reuse this to go to like the Renaissance Fair next year or something, right? Like you can do a pirate at a Renaissance Fair, right? I mean,
Or you
they
can
do it
just
all
use
the time.
pieces of it for the Ren Fair. Like,
yeah, exactly, right?
you always see pirates. I think you'd be safe there.
I think I'd be
Yeah.
good with a pirate, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I just was wondering. I don't know. I know some people probably go really hard, and other people probably just like throw on. And I got like a really cool leather eye patch too. I didn't get like
Okay.
the cheap like stretchy band one. I got like this really cool.
You're not
leather
going to like that when you fall overboard, but sure. Just remember the distance of the railings. That's all I will tell you.
I will stay away from the railings. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'll cover up my bad eye and I'll have the good eyes. Well, because I can't see anything without glasses. That's the other problem, and I don't do contacts, so I'm gonna have to take my glasses off and just basically not see for a while.
Oh boy, we're not going to see Tom again. He's definitely going overboard.
Lost at sea.
So you absolutely should just do the patch with your glasses because
On top of the glasses.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
bad. That looks like you just been to the eye doctor. Like that's what that looks like. It looks like you got a glaucoma test.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That would
Tom
be
just
kinda
had
weird.
cataract surgery.
with
Like
the
that
rest of the
doesn't work.
outfit, I mean.
I did buy fake tattoos. I bought them for the kids too. I bought them for me and for the kids. So
I love when there's stuff that you can buy for like the kids that you also like. I mean, that's always a win. So
yeah,
I would agree with
absolutely. I mean, listen, my initial fake tattoo purchase was going to be like, those kind of like fake like sleeve ones that are pretty cool. But then I was like, you know what? Maybe if I put fake tattoos on, the kids are going to want to do it too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll go a little more cartoony with it. Kind of do the cartoony kind of pirate themed stuff, like the cartoon treasure chests and the cartoony skull and crossbone kind of thing. But yeah, man, I got the whole thing. I'm pretty excited about it. I want to. Here's the thing that's going to be funny though, is we might end up getting to pirate night, and I'm gonna be like, oh man, I'm just tired. I don't want to do this tonight. It could happen. I could 100% see that happening. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I was just curious, Damon, how you participated in it, because I'm
Headband.
different levels, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. We also are a little worried that the Pirate Night is going to somehow end up on the same day that my daughter and my niece are doing Bippity Boppity. Because we're like, well, then they're going to be what, pirate princesses, I guess. We'll just have to
you'll have to do that,
Yeah.
That is valid.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, what were we even talking about? I don't even know.
We didn't even start
actually
the show yet, so nothing.
Yeah. We should probably, get to the rundown and see what we got here. I guess it's fair. We should, let's start by calling out the listener tips and trip report line.
I did fix it, by the way.
So for anybody that wants to call in tips or share trip reports, you can.
Jeremy didn't even do it though.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. But 833 WHP-TIPS or 833-987-8477. Give us a call. Let us know about a recent trip or anything like that. I will call out Jeremy. He has been posting in the group. Really appreciate him sharing his mini trip reports because he just got back.
No, call the number, man.
Yeah,
call the number, dude.
But that's fair. I'm saying it's great that he did it in the group.
No trip reports.
But Jared, no, Jared. Like I'm trying to be positive about this, David.
No,
positive reinforcement.
Yeah, good. But let's call it in. Also, just as we're talking about the group, I also want to call out Ashley, who put a bunch of stuff in for a Peeps contest that was going on in her town. That there was a bunch of Disney stuff there, but yeah, so they did it was like an Easter, Peeps, or things made out, or they did dioramas made out of Peeps, right?
Yeah.
The most hilarious one though is actually there's a Squid Game one from the merry-go-round game, and it's all Peeps. I want to call that out. That is very funny, and I love that very much.
That is pretty funny. Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Do we want to do listener questions, or do we want any topics that we want to start with?
I want to do Philip's question.
Okay.
What is the purpose of the boats across the lake at Epcot? Is that really necessary, or am I missing something? So, first of all, I can't remember the last time I even saw them running. I feel like the last time I was at Epcot, they were not running. But I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't notice it.
They were there when I was there in February last year.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have maybe gone on. I want to say I've done it once. I really just think if it's my feet hurt and I want to take a break and get from one side of the showcase to the other, that's really the only purpose of it to me. But I mean, I guess it also does have a cool aesthetic to it. You watching the boats go around,
Yeah. There is an element of kinetic energy to it. I guess for me, it's the World Showcase is pretty big, and yes, I know we can all walk around the World Showcase, but if you're tired and you just want to get back from the far side to the entrance or get closer to International Gateway, it saves you a bunch of walking. Does it have to be any more complicated than that?
I don't think it does. I just thought it was an interesting question, because you feel like you don't really see that many people even using it all that often.
I mean, every time I look at it, there's a bunch of people on it. It's not like it's ever the boats are never empty.
There was a time where they weren't running it because when they had what's it called, Harmonious going, right? Because I think
because of the barge in the middle, right? Because
of the Stargates, yeah, right. Stargate and the tacos, right? I think that made it a little difficult, but yeah, no, I guess it is running again. I mean, they still listed on Disney's website. I just don't remember seeing it last time. I mean, listen, I'll be there in a week, so I'll tell you when I'm there.
You'll be hyper aware of it now.
Yeah, now I'm going to pay attention. I feel like it's one of those things you just don't pay attention to. It's just in the background, and you may or may not notice that it's there or not. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's all I had on that. I just thought it was a funny question, but
okay, no, that's fair. All right, do we want to start in on the dining plan?
Yeah, you know what? This article is not just about the dining plan. That's just the headline, right? So they're talking about all of the free stuff that's going to be in 2026, right? Even though we're only a quarter of the way into 2025. They are going to be opening up bookings for 2026. Well, they already did, I should say, right? So they already opened bookings for 2026. So of course they want to communicate what the benefits are going to be. But the first one, and this is an interesting one, I almost put this as DVC news because it is a little bit of DVC news, but it says as a special offering for 2026, meaning I guess the entire year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't say between certain times. It just says 2026.
I would assume that's the entire year.
Yeah. Yeah. So any guest staying at any of the 25 Disney World hotels will get a free dining plan for their kids when they purchase a dining plan as part of their package for other members of their party. So basically it's like, your local restaurant, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. It's what they're doing, but for your entire vacation, which is a really interesting thing that they're doing. I mean, because typically in the past, when they've done the free dining plan, it's been during times specifically when they want to stimulate people to come, right? But now this is just, they're doing it for the entire year. And also, I mean, I can't think of a time where DVC has had access to free dining plan, right? Like this is, DVC is not excluded from this. DVC, you don't have to be a Blue member or anything. You could just be a guest staying at a DVC resort. You don't have to be a member or anything like that, but it will apply to all of the Disney resorts.
The interesting thing about that is you're making me think about, like, is this Disney's way of saying that they want, or that, are they saying that there's not enough families going to Disney right now? Like, I feel like that's kind of what this is implying, is that they're trying to drive, people with kids ages 3 to 9 specifically, because So the thing about the kids dining plan is it only applies to ages 3 to 9, which, it's that's a, I mean, I don't want to say that's a small amount of people, but it's a limited set of people going to Disney. And they are definitely, like, I feel like they're trying to, get more families to come back, and not necessarily, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but, it feels like they're trying to, it's not incentivizing, like, Disney adults or families that have older kids or anything like that. Like, it feels like they're trying to get a very specific demographic into the hotels.
See,
right?
I was looking at it as this was just like, I don't want to say cheap, but it's a way for, they're offering it specifically for the kids because it's the cheaper portion of it, right? Like they'll make their money on the adult version, and then they'll, the kids are just not that big of a deal for them money wise. I mean, I'm sure it costs them something, but it's, it's the kids plan. Like if they were giving free adult plans, that's different, like when they do the free dining plan, because obviously they feel like it's worth it to do that. But yeah, I don't know. Because the other part of this too is the kids free dining plan can be combined with other select offers. So you can actually do both. So, which is usually the other way around, right? Like usually they don't let you do both.
So, like, you mean like you can get like the free dining promos where like you pay for a room, you get free dining, and then you also get a kids.
I'm going to guess not free dining, just because that kind of defeats the I would think. I don't know. But because free dining, you're already getting the free dining anyway, right?
But you're paying more for the room. So it's kind of.
Yeah.
Offsetting the cost. Yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying, maybe it'll be like a later thing where they're just doing like a, when they do like the 20% discount on the room thing,
Yeah. Which, again, like that's very interesting that they're like, this is basically just it's a free for all with, kids eating for free, which I guess the other thing I would argue too is, we've tried to math out the dining plan in the past, and for kids, it's really hard to justify it for kids, because they're like, oh, you get all this food, and there's kids that kids will never eat anywhere near what they offer in the dining plan. Absolutely. So it's so hard. Like maybe Disney has finally conceded that there is, kids are not costing them a ton of money because
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Because most kids would never take advantage of the dining plan to the extent that you should, if you're talking about from a cost effectiveness standpoint. So, maybe Disney realized that, it wasn't worth, fighting that battle of, getting people to come and pay for their kids. So they're just like, fine, your kids eat for free. And, for a lot of people, I think that's enough of a tipping point that, it's a lot easier to rationalize it when you're only paying for yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's a really good incentive, right? Like, I do think it's obviously, the whatever number cruncher they have over there figured out that the dining plan doesn't cost that much for them to give for free, and what they get out of it is worth more, of just them booking the package, the adults booking the package and paying for the dining plans out of pocket. So, I mean, it's, I think it probably just makes financial sense for them, and it's like a good incentive for them to offer. It is funny though that we've gone from no dining plan to now everyone gets a dining plan. It's just kind of funny. I mean, listen, you don't really, because you still have to. Everyone else has to buy the dining plan that's in your party, right? So it doesn't mean you just get it for free. You actually do have to pay something, and it's as one of my relatives always used to say, there's no such thing as free. As cynical as that is, it is partly true, right? Like, you're paying for the parent plan, the adult plan. I say adult even though it's 10 and up, which I don't think anybody would call a kid that's 10 years old an adult. But you're still paying for that piece, and you're still paying for the vacation, and you're still buying merch, and you're doing all the things that they want you to do. So, it's free, yes, but you're also still doing all the stuff they want.
But this goes back into also, I feel this may be Disney actually listening to people talking about the Disney bubble and all the things that they've taken away.
Agreed.
For the Disney bubble is, you're right. The dining plan, Magical Express, all that stuff was, going like, I feel like this is them trying to say, hey, if you come here next year, you're going to show up and your food is taken care of. We'll see what else they do between now and then. But, at the very least, hey, you and your family don't have to worry about paying for food for this trip. And again, I know you're right that, technically you're not saving any money per se, but there is a convenience and
it's convenience.
There is that mental factor of not having to, balance a budget. And depending too on how, how many kids are in your family, I get where it could be very, off-putting to have to worry about every time the bill comes in that, some of these sit downs can end up translating to hundreds of dollars. And if you have the dining plan, it's just kind of taken care of, right? You just use a couple of credits and you're good. So
I think the interesting thing about this, and I don't see any things that said you can't do this. What if you're just like a couple that has like 10 kids, not that you have 10 kids under 10, but let's say you have 5 kids under 10, right? And so just the 2 adults have to pay, and then the rest of the kids get to eat for free. I mean, that's pretty great.
Yeah, I guess they don't specify on, like, it's not a 1-for-1 thing. Right?
It's not. It's not.
As long as you have an adult dining plan, like,
it doesn't say that. It just says all the adults in the party have to purchase it, and then all the kids get it for free.
Yeah, which 2 adults bringing like their kids and all of their kids' friends with them.
That's
which
what
I
I'm
would.
saying.
I mean, I could not imagine trying to wrangle a group of ages 3 to 9 kids in the parks. Like, that would be crazy, and just for the sake of free food.
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, that is interesting though. There are going to be ways to kind of game this a little bit,
Oh yeah, and yeah, like you said, the fact that this is. They're leaving this open to combining with other offers, and all, this feels to me like Disney is going to, they're implying that there's going to be a bunch of other stuff coming for 2026 that's going to make coming to the parks attractive.
Sure.
That's what this feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing here too, they're mentioning that they're keeping early theme park entry at every park for 30 minutes every day. Which, I've said before, I do...
Needs to be an hour.
Yeah, an hour would be better. I agree with you. But also for, the DVC members that are staying, at deluxe resorts or anybody else really staying at deluxe resorts, they do have those extended evening hours at certain parks on certain days. So almost an extra magic hours kind of thing. But, only on certain dates. They don't do it like, all the time. So... like I even just looked for when it's over the weekend, so they're not doing it over the weekend. They're doing it at the times where it's going to be less busy. But yeah, they're still going to have that, so that's good. I don't know why they even bother with the transportation thing because it's always the same. But they are.
This is a funny. I mean, it's a great bullet point for people that don't know. I guess.
True. Yeah, that's true.
If you're just coming here and you don't go to Disney regularly, they go, oh, hey, we the monorail and the Skyliner, those are all free. For the rest of us that go there all the time, it's like, obviously. So it's funny, Trevor, because I was, since I'm going to spend those couple days, and I know you're going to spend a couple days, it's weird to me because I had to re-navigate the whole Lightning Lane thing because I haven't, now you can book them ahead of time and pay ahead of time and all that. But I hadn't really, I hadn't thought about it until now. But, they mentioned here too. So, resort guests get early access to dining reservations on Lightning Lane for the entire stay. So, so I'm gonna book that seven days out. They do also mention, they say coming back in summer of 2026, which tells me they're not going to offer this maybe in the beginning of 2026, but the free water park admission on check-in day, which is available now, they're saying is going to come back in summer 2026. So obviously at some point they're going to end it this year. I'm assuming when I don't know. Did they put a date on it for this year? I don't even remember them putting a date on it. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it because they did the same. Yeah, they did the same kind of thing that they're doing with the dining plan, where they just said for 2025, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume it runs just until the end of the year.
Yeah,
until they say that they're extending it.
Oh wait, actually, let's see. I'm trying to find this answer really quickly here, but yeah, the other thing that they added as a little exclusion is when available, right? So like they're saying that they might say that it's not available on a specific day, I guess, if it gets too busy. But it says like it doesn't say that here, but it's subject to availability. Yeah, so that's what it says right there. So yeah, so I mean, they could. I don't know if that's just them covering for themselves, or they just want to maybe restrict it more next year. But yeah, as of right now,
I feel that they're making sure that they have the ability to turn it off at any point
if they want to. Yeah. So I'm just trying to find dates on the website here. It just says Water Park Day in 2025. It doesn't say dates. So maybe at the end of the year it stops and then they'll boot it back up again in the summer next year. I don't know. It's just weird to me that they cut out the first half of the year, especially when the water parks, end up being closed a lot towards the end of the year and the beginning of the year because it's so cold. It can be cold in Florida sometimes, occasionally in December, January.
I mean, maybe a couple of days in January, but
yeah. Yeah, but okay. So it's some interesting stuff. I'm sure. Again, this is like you kind of said. This is kind of just the beginning, right? So I'm sure we'll hear more about special offers and things like that.
I'm really curious how this promo with the dining plan is going to fold into other things, because it's like, I mean, for me, I wish that this came out 8 years ago when my son was old enough that he could, we could actually make use of it. I'm in that boat now where he's basically an adult, so we'd just be paying for adult dining plans. But the fact though that they're not limiting this to non-DVC or they are opening it to DVC, and the fact that they're saying, hey, this is going to be combinable, I feel like Disney is definitely they're going to throw some other stuff out there, and if you're paying attention to this stuff, it's probably a good chance to capitalize on getting some cool trips going, right? Like they're going to make it easy to go there is what it feels like. Like I'm also remembering back in 2016, I remember they actually had the we got something for our park tickets. They had a promo on park tickets, DVC specifically. But I remember like as we were coming in, they were talking about, or like our guide was talking about, like, oh yeah, they always do, like, if you keep an eye out for, like, you can get like discounts on annual passes, which we get that now with the Sorcerer's Pass and all that. But the it wasn't free park tickets. It was something like you paid points for park tickets or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we're going to start seeing that kind of stuff coming back again. I really hope this is the tip of the iceberg on it, and that Disney is actually starting to pay attention to all the stuff that they've taken away that they really should be bringing back.
I mean, it seems like it, right? With the return of the luggage service, and it seems like some of these things are starting to trickle back in again, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully they, keep adding them. So, Trevor, why don't we go ahead and do the ad, and then we'll talk about a few other things. All right, so the sponsor of this episode is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2024, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 1-844-382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. All right, Trevor, Wally was in the parks, which I kind of forgot about Wally. I'll be honest. The actual robot that they built, because they built them a long time ago, but they don't use them that much, I feel like. Yeah,
I mean, they did it for Earth Day, which I think, because of the messaging in Wally, is definitely a good timing for it. But it's just, I feel like they should do more with Wally, because especially for the fact that I kind of forgot about him.
Well, but this is also not to go back to the Epic Universe conversation, because nobody wants to hear my opinion about that anymore. So somebody got annoyed with me about it, but this is fine. I mean, it's fine. But anyway, this is the stuff you're talking about, Trevor. It's like more of this stuff floating around the parks and more of these kinds of interactive things. Because I mean, so I just looked this up. They debuted this in 2013. 2013, it's been around, but but you never see it though.
like they have these things, and Disney just chooses to not use them. And again, it's great that they brought it out on Earth Day, but why does Wally only have to come out on Earth Day? Would be my question.
I mean, I guess just because of the movie, but I mean, you're right. They could do a meet and greet with him. Like they could do. People would meet Wally. I mean, if you look at the comments,
or just have him wander around more, like Push, like.
Yeah.
I would be thrilled to see him in the park.
Trying to think where you put him, though.
Tomorrowland?
Do you think he fits in Tomorrowland, though? Because he's like an old, rusty, busted-up robot, though. He's
still a robot.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland is inclusive of all robots of shapes and sizes, Tom.
That's fair.
Don't be so close-minded about robots, Tom.
You're right. If you look at the comments, though, on the Instagram, though, it's literally just filled with people saying, I want to meet Wally. So it's like, yeah, do it. Like, why not?
Right? Exactly. Like it. This is, Disney doesn't seem to understand what they're actually holding on to. It feels like.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a reason. Maybe it doesn't maybe it's not particularly durable or something. I don't know, but
might have some pinchy spots on it that if he moves the wrong way when somebody has their hand on it, it could be a liability thing.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, they've had this robot, which is, it's a very impressive robot. It looks exactly like Wally. It does all the same movements. I mean, it looks like you're meeting the real Wally, right? Like, it's pretty amazing that they've had this for 12 years. But they could improve on it even now at this point with the newer technology they have. Although I don't know what they would do to improve on it, because it looks pretty perfect. I don't know what else they could do. It does all the things that Wally does already.
Does it need to do more?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. I'm just saying, I guess they could improve on it if they wanted to.
Okay, I'm trying to think how you improve on Wally, though.
I guess what I mean is they maybe some of the technology in it, like you improve, what I mean, make it more durable, make it more date. Is what I'm saying.
Or maybe I guess what you're saying is like how they're using AI for the robots in Galaxy's Edge, like kind of giving him an upgrade to his behaviors and stuff like that.
That's exactly right. Like do some different things with him. But I do think it's cool they pulled him out, because again, they built a bunch of these robots over the years. You just only see them occasionally for special things, Yeah. So anyway.
Like I said, I'm happy that we actually are getting stuff like that again. Like you said, maybe they'll pay attention that, the way people are responding to it, that, set up more meet and greets like this, because why not? And actually, yeah, the more that I'm looking at it, yeah, this would be a really hard meet and greet to do. I feel there's a lot of very intricate moving parts on Wally, and I feel like somebody could get a finger caught in the wrong spot,
a finger crushed in there.
Yeah. Well, Wally doesn't seem very like meet and greet friendly.
Yeah. Oh, it actually looks like I'm just so the thing that the internet picked up was a group of fans built a Wally in 2013, but I can't seem to find when Disney built their own Wally. It's been a long time though. I remember when it debuted. I just don't know how long it was. And now if you Google Disney Wally, all that comes up are those the new droids that are kind of, they're saying are like inspired
like
by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wait, there's okay. It's actually even further back because I just found a video from 2008 of them debuting it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was it really that long ago?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 2008, July 1st, 2008. This video is from with Wally. So they've had that about now for how many years is that? Oh my gosh.
16, 17 years.
Yeah. 17 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty much the same as it did. So yeah, even longer. I said 2013. It's actually 2008. Crazy. So anyway,
well, yeah, I said hopefully we'll see more of it.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Disney upgrading stuff, it sounds like Smuggler's Run's going to be getting an overhaul.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of already announced part of this, right? That there was going to be like Mandalorian and like Grogu themed adventures coming to Smuggler's Run, but now there's a new piece to it that we're finding out, which is that one of the crew members is going to get to choose which destination you go to. It's not going to be like a random thing. You get to choose where you want to go. And so which I actually think is kind of cool, especially since they're giving this job to the engineer position, which is, probably the one that does the least on that ride. So now the engineer gets to communicate with Grogu the entire ride and also choose the locale of the mission.
Wait, the engineer is not the one picking the location. It says the crew will be in control of the destination. Says the engineer positions will communicate with Grogu.
Yeah, but from what I've read, I read in a different article, not this one, where they said the engineer is the one that's picking. But they're not.
See that I don't know if I like that.
That the engineer's doing it? I mean, you could decide as a team, I guess, and just yell at the engineer to do it.
Yeah, but then you need to have a full party, or you need 6 people to have your own party in Smuggler's Run. So if you're put in with randos, then you could have one of your engineers is picking a location that you don't want to go to, but you wanted to pilot. So you see where that becomes a problem. I'm thinking about, okay, so when we rode Smuggler's Run, it was me and my son and my parents. So there was 4 of us. Then we had 2 random people those 2 random people ended up in the engineer positions.
Yeah.
And the thing is we didn't know them, and that was fine. We didn't have to talk to them or anything. The thing about the engineer positions, though, is that there wasn't a lot they had to do. And I think those people were kind of happy that like they didn't care to do any of the decision making stuff, and they were happy to let us my son being the youngest one on there, he was basically driving for us.
My wife's the same way. She didn't want to. She's like, I don't want to drive. I'd rather just push buttons. And I'm like, okay, engineer for you.
But then the thing is that the engineer is given decision making power. Then the pilot is yelling back at the engineer like take a best spin or right, like
yeah. Well, so
it's funny. Like I get it. It's good that they're adding more interactivity to it. But I can see where this is a case of like giving people control can actually backfire. Is what I feel.
It could. Yeah, it could. So essentially what it says here, I sent you the article, Trevor, but it's in this article specifically, and I don't know why they don't say this in the Disney Parks blog post. They kind of say it, but kind of don't, to your point. But in the other article I'm reading, it says at the Star Wars celebration in Japan, they said that there will be multiple paths you can take, and whoever's the engineer will make the pick. So, yeah, interesting. By the way, the updated ride will debut the same day as the movie because Disney can't give up a good opportunity for cross promotion within the parks and the movies. So we still have a whole year until this happens.
Okay.
It's funny though. This article says on Smuggler's Run, you're either a pilot, a gunner, or an engineer. As the ride is now, the engineer is kind of the most boring role to play. But with this new ride, it will be the spot that gets to choose which planet you go to. Also, that's where you'll interact with Grogu on a small screen. So I guess it seems like you're not only going to pick the place, but there's also going to be some things you do with Grogu while you're on the flight, right?
Assuming that your engineer is paying attention.
Well, there's also that. There's always that, right?
Because this is the hard thing. Like I said, when we did it, it was the people in the engineer positions were very clearly like they were just watching the front screen and they were not paying attention to what they had to do at all. Yeah, and they were missing buttons. I know that there was prompts that you do have to hit as the engineer, and they were not doing them, which is fine. It's the same kind of thing as when you go on Mission Space, where you have you have the 4 people in different roles, and you're supposed to press buttons at certain times. But of course, the ride does just override and do stuff for you. So it doesn't hurt the ride per se, but it definitely hurts the immersion of the ride when if 4 of you are in it and you're like doing the thing, and then there's even 1 or 2 people that are just not participating. I hope however they do it, it's not obvious if the engineer doesn't do whatever they need to do with Grogu. That's my only comment on it. Like it's a hard thing, right? Because you want to have that interactivity, but you also when people aren't willing to participate, that actually becomes, it detracts and you notice it, right? When everyone else is playing ball and one person is like, "Nah, I'm not doing this." It's like, that's not fun.
That's not as fun. No.
Yeah.
I just always found it funny on Mission Space because it's like, if the computer can just do it by itself, like let's talk it like we're pretending like we're in the mission here, right? Then why do I have to push the button? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you don't push the button, the computer takes over and does it for you. But why do I have to do it in the first place?
Or just says override and it does it, right? But that's it's just to make sure that the ride.
I know. I'm just joking about it because I just think it's funny. Like if you're living in that world and pretending like you're really going to Mars, like it's kind of pointless for you to push buttons if the computer can do it by itself. But
that's true. But
anyway,
fun aside to that, if you ever want to play hard mode in Mission Space, my brother and I did this once where it was just 2 of us, and we split ourselves up and we each manned 2 consoles, which is it's way harder than you think because you have to reach across and hit buttons, and the G-forces are pushing you back and all that. But
that sounds like fun. Yeah,
you can run Mission Space with 2 people.
I mean, technically, I guess you could run it with 1 person. Because the computer will just do it all anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, you can keep the prompts going or the buttons going. Which the interesting thing about Smuggler's Run is that things are spaced out enough that like you couldn't have like if you were missing your engineers, you couldn't have like your gunners reach back and hit, like it's too far, right? Like you can't. Yeah.
That's
and you're not getting up in the middle of the ride to do that. They won't.
You're not. No. Yeah. So anyway, there's going to be a bunch of different places you can go with this. So listen, I think this is a good update to this ride. I mean, I'm glad that they're keeping it fresh. I think that's important and they've been doing this with Star Tours too. Star Tours is a different ride every time you go on it, and that keeps it fresh. And I think that's a smart thing to do without, having to do these crazy long refurbishments. You can update some of these things without really closing it down. So
yeah, keeping it for those of us that go back enough to notice that it is new and interesting enough, or it gives you enough reason to go and check it out, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, what else we got here? Oh, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about some Stitch merch here?
Yeah, let's talk about some Stitch merch because they are clearly pushing this for the new movie.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a commercial popped up for the new Stitch movie, and my daughter was cracking up at it. She was like so into it. Like she was, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll actually get her to watch a movie, which I never can, but maybe this time I'll actually get it done. But
yeah,
you
never know.
Listen, it's interesting because Stitch, even though it wasn't the biggest movie ever, I feel like there is a legion of people that are just Stitch fans. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just see a lot of people. It's almost got like a different cultural thing to it outside.
Yeah,
of
I mean, like my son was definitely big into Stitch. Like he has a lot of Stitch plushies and stuff that he grew up with, and it was, I think it was just a timing thing that like he wasn't, like Stitch actually came out before he was born, but
yeah,
it was just like he sat down and watched the movie, and he just kind of got fixated. Yeah, like you said, it's just a thing that it's like some people just get like enamored with the character of Stitch. And because I will say, like, you know, looking at this merch, like I'm glad that they definitely leaned more towards the cartoon version of Stitch than the live action version, which I think is good. Like, you know, it does kind of give them some room to, you know, the live action Stitch will definitely be its own thing, but all the merch really does like it plays into the animation or the show that used to be on the animated series and the original movie. Like it gives those some life back. But yeah, this is way more Stitch merch than I've seen. Like I remember when my son was younger, you know, we were kind of disappointed. We were like scouring the parks for anything Stitch related. And, you know, every time that we saw like a different Stitch plushie, we're like, oh, we got to get it because we're never going to see it again. And now it's like, you know, looking at this merch, there's like 3 different plushies there. That's a huge plushie.
I just think about the babysitters I used to hire, right? I say used to because they went to college, but they were high school kids. There's 17, right? And one of them, and I say them, they were twins, so they would both come over at the same time. So that's why I'm saying that. But essentially, one of them, I remember we came home one time, and one of them, I noticed that their backpack had like a Stitch thing on it, and I was like, "Oh, do you really like Lilo and Stitch?" She's like, "No, I just like Stitch." And I'm just like,
"Yeah,
oh." And she's like, I've actually never seen the movie. I just like Stitch. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Like Stitch has like he has a popularity outside of the movie, which I think Disney's trying to capitalize on by making this a live action, but also just with all the merch.
Yeah. And you're right. That's the thing is like my son, he's not like, he doesn't watch the movie. Like he watched the movie, I think like maybe once or twice, but it was the same kind of thing where it wasn't like, he wasn't like into the movie per se. It was just Stitch. Like he just wanted Stitch stuff. And yeah, there's just something about, I don't know what kind of lightning in a bottle they captured with him, but it, like you said, it's weird because he's got kind of his own thing going independent of the movies and all the other media around it. Oh, and they got dog stuff here too. I need to get, okay, I got to buy my dog a new.
I think it's because he's like both mischievous and also adorable, you know?
Yes.
Like he's both like, he's funny, he's silly, he like, you know, is gets into a lot of trouble, but then at the end of the day, he's also kind of adorable and lovable, right? I think that's where they kind of got it. I was looking at this cool motorized Stitch remote control car of him riding a surfboard.
Surfboard, yeah.
Yeah, like that's pretty cool. Yeah. I like that.
The dog stuff again, like we have bought like, you know, Stitch dog collars and stuff. It's funny how that like they've really leaned in hard on this. Like you can get like harnesses and stuff now, which is dog costumes. Like, man, where was this stuff 5 years ago?
They got bed sheets over here that they're doing. Yeah. They got a Stitch waffle maker. They've got their Stitch Go-Gurt, which I'm sure I'll be buying at the store sometime soon here. They have like a Where's Waldo book but it's Where's Stitch? Okay. That's cool, I guess, right?
I feel like that's a hard sell to me.
You think so?
Yeah, well, because Stitch, like, the thing about the Where's Waldo's book is that, you know, the striped shirt makes him camouflage in a lot better. I feel like Stitch is a little too
easy to find.
Yeah, it's too hard to hide him in a crowd.
Oh my god, this dog costume of Stitch, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I want to put my dog in this just to make him look as miserable as this dog looks. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Although I like the bed. The bed looks
The
like
bed's
that.
cool.
That's the kind of a dog bed that my dog would use for sure.
I'm digging the Stitch walkie-talkies over here, man. I
was gonna say the splash mat is actually kind of
that's cool.
Like for summertime stuff. I feel like you don't see a lot of that, or they don't overly advertise, I guess, the summertime kind of stuff. And initially, I thought I was thinking it was like or I don't know, like I didn't even look at the picture. I was just like, oh, it's like a Stitch water thing. I immediately thought like a Stitch crazy, or like what was the water slide, the yellow?
Oh, slip and slide.
Called? Yeah, slip and slide. Yeah. I want to say crazy carpet, but crazy carpets are like a winter thing. But yeah, so yeah, like I was thinking like a Stitch slip and slide would be like
that'd
perfect.
be pretty cool too. Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, it's funny that they're doing I mean, summertime stuff for Stitch actually makes a lot of sense because it, being that it takes place in Hawaii, it's very easy to kind of sell that like, tropical water play kind of stuff, right? Like I'm actually surprised there's not more of it in this merch lineup.
I actually am surprised too. I mean, this is just also the beginning though too. There could be more. I mean,
yeah,
they're saying too that this is a new line of stuff. So, but I'm sure there's going to be more things. I wouldn't be surprised anyway. Yeah. But I mean, most of these look like they look like the same Stitch that we know. So I mean, it's not. I feel like the live action one looks just like the animated one personally. But to me, they can make merch for both and it works fine. Like you're not going to notice the difference.
I think the only thing on here that looks, or I shouldn't say the only thing, but there is these there's these vinyl figures towards the top.
I see those, yeah.
That those definitely look closer to the live action one. I feel like everything else is very much embracing the cartoony version of Stitch.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. All right, well, that's all I got. I mean, should we wrap this thing up, Trevor? I mean,
yeah. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, so this is the last time you're going to hear from us with a timely show for a few weeks here. So we will still be putting out a show on May 5th. So look for a show on May 5th. That'll still happen, but we won't have a show at all on the 12th. And then we'll come back that next week on the 19th. So we'll be back. We'll be trying to post it. We'll post stuff too. So hopefully you'll be able to follow along with the stuff we're working on and doing. So
yeah. So yeah, I guess during the week of the 12th. I mean, you're going to be coming back from your cruise, and I'm going to be going on my trip. So I think not putting it out there that there's going to be a ton of stuff, but definitely will. I think we'll both try and post stuff as we see opportunities. So, at the very least, if you're, if you're not in the group or if you're not on Facebook, you can still follow stuff that we're putting on there because you will see posts on Facebook. So,
and by the way, thanks to everybody who checked out the first episode of Food Time. Trevor and I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm glad we got some really good feedback about it, and people really seem to like it. So, thank you if you checked out Food Time. We really appreciate it. And I apologies if you watched it early on. We'll chalk this up to it being the first episode, but really there was an issue with the audio where it was only coming through one channel. It's fixed now. If you go back and watch it,
pains. Yeah,
growing pains. Listen, it's the first one we've done of these, so not going to happen again. But yeah, so thank you for your patience with that, and also for checking out and giving us feedback. We really appreciate it. I've enjoyed all the nice comments, and like I said, Trevor and I had a fun time doing it. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of it. Like I feel like now that we've kind of ironed out some of the bugs, it's going to get better. So.
Yeah. But thank you for checking it out. And like if you want to watch it, it's available on YouTube. If you want to listen to it, of course, you can just listen to it through the podcast channels without video too. So yeah.
All right. I guess it's my turn now to start the wrap up, isn't it?
It is yours. Yeah, it's your turn to talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So. For anything that we've talked about today, or if you have your own trip report, or anything you want to share with us, I'll start by mentioning the email address. You can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. I will also mention the the trip report line as well. So, if you don't want to email us, you can also call or text us. So you can call us at 833 WHP-TIPS. That's 987-8477. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing your own trip reports, or, if you have questions or anything that you want us to talk about on the show, you can always reach us those ways. And then also you can find us on social media. So as I mentioned earlier, we are on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast. We're on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast, and we're on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. Make sure on Facebook, you also check out our group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we talk about all the stuff that you hear on the show. But then there is also a lot of very cool people in the group that post their own trip reports. We shouted out to Jeremy earlier this episode, and there's things like what Ashley shared in the group, calling those two out again. Just great stuff. Love seeing it. Would love to see more. Also love seeing, people posting memes about, stuff that we talked about on the show. We don't always, think about how, or I should say, we don't, memes always come of like the most weirdest things, or, something that we didn't even think was like a big point in the show, but somebody always finds something fun to share about it, and it's always in the group. So make sure you join the group if you want to see all the memes and all the other stuff that people talk about and that we share around the show as well. So check those things out. Also, if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out our different merch on there. So we have all the usual stuff, the t-shirts, mugs, all that kind of stuff that you can get. And if you do get something, send us a pic in the groups. We love to see it. And then similarly, we also have a Patreon. So you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support, which gets an exclusive logo that you can only get on Patreon. So our Patreon supporters get that. They also get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we talk about stuff on the show, similar to the Facebook group. But Discord is just another platform for that. And also all of our Patreon supporters get early access to things like Food Time. So, if you wanted to, get Food Time before everyone else gets it on Thursday, consider checking out our Patreon. And last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or any platform where you can leave us a 5-star review, please do so. It just helps more people find the show. It's just one of those things with how the internet, how the little gears in the internet spin.
The little gears in the internet.
Yeah, we got to get those little gears spinning to make sure that it's just a bunch of gears in the background. That's all.
Yeah, that's all it really is.
Yeah. So leave us a 5-star review. We love seeing that stuff, and we also love seeing your reviews on iTunes. So if you want to write us a review and let us know what you think about the show, we love hearing that as well.
Yeah, so write us some reviews. So don't have any new ones this week, but don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any place you can find podcasts, you can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC cast member or a Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsor, DVC Resale Market, for sponsoring this episode, and World of DVC for continuing to be our partners over the years. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl, eating